Hello students, very good morning. So students, I think in last class whatever the conceptual problem we have discussed on ray optics, that is all clear to you, and as number of problems are there that we have discussed conceptual and numerical problems. So here I think there is now no confusion in all that, and also as I think your revision test has gone very well. So today let's again further move in the revision of the topic that we were discussing in the last class for the revision classes, that was for wave optics. So in the case of wave optics, up to the topic of young experiment, through that one the alternate maxima and minima that were forming on the screen, that I think that is clear, totally clear, because there Young has used the concept of Maxwell's as well as the concept of Huygens at the same place. According to Huygens, as light has wave nature, so it means that wave will move in the form of either just compression or rarefaction if it is longitudinal wave, and in the terms of crystalline throws if that is transverse wave. So these are now the two types of wave in which this can move. So according to Huygens, the wave was just like the sound wave, like the longitudinal wave, but later Maxwell has proved by the mathematical expression that it's have transverse nature. So he have used transverse characteristic, means the points where crust of one wave will fall over the crust of other, or the throw of one will fall over the throw of other, then that time we will get the maximum intensity, and the point at which the crust will fall on the minimum that is throws, then that time we will just find minimum intensity. So this was all the experiment that we can easily, means now we are able to understand the interference phenomena successfully by using the wave concept of the light. So wave concept is also applicable to or you can say also successful to explain interference of light phenomena. Now let's see theory of interference today, further that Young has done now. So for the mathematical, here this is all the mathematical calculations that we will use. For theory of interference, as let us suppose we have two waves, and that two wave has the displacements y1 and y2 in the space. They are propagating, they are moving. Now here the first wave has some amplitude a1. So this is now the a1 cos of, or sine, you can also use at sine omega t here. Now the second one wave, you can see that should have some amplitude a2. Now this is sine, and as you know the two waves should be maintained at the constant phase. So as number of conditions for the production of sustainable interference, that is sustainable means a well-defined interference pattern, and well-defined means very clear, sharp and equidistant. This kind of all properties in interference pattern, if you are seeing equally distance is already they are being, but exactly well-defined means how sharp interference pattern you are getting, how well looking interference pattern you are getting, that is called sustainable interference. Now for that one, number of conditions we are using, like the frequency, wavelength, time period, these all should be same for the wave. Waves should be maintained at the constant phase difference or zero phase difference there should be between them. The third one, their amplitude, if you will keep same, that will be more better, and if you here the amplitude can be different, then that will cause no problem, but for more sharp image you can keep them also equal. Next one, all things like here along with that the source should be narrow, the distance between sources and screens should be greater, that all I have told you already, and with reason wise I have told you in the previous classes. Now as that knowledge you have, here two waves we have that is moving in space, and these two have different just displacements y1 and y2. Now when they will get superposed over each other, then their resulting we can find out by using now superposition principle, that is saying that this should be the algebraic sum of the displacements of individual waves. Now for example, suppose the both waves are moving in the same direction. So for same directional wave, obviously this will be taken as positive, there should not be any negative value. Now this can be written as here a1 sine omega t, then plus a2 sine of omega t plus phi from here. Now as you can expand this one on the formula of sin A plus B. So let's expand this one. So we can write A1 sin of omega t, then A2 here we can have sin omega t into cos phi, then plus cos omega t into sin phi here, that you can get now. After this one, you can take sin omega t terms as common and cos omega t terms as one place. You can keep it. So let's keep that one. So if you will see, this is A1 plus now A2 cos of phi you will get, and into sin omega t, then plus A2 sin of phi into cos omega t we will get. Suppose this is your equation number 1. So you can, I think you have written it already. So for that one, in the next line, I will go here, write just here. For that case, let us suppose now some of the quantities in place of here the things that we have written now. As you can see in this bracket term you can see there A1 plus A2 cos phi is written. You can see A1 is amplitude of first wave, that is constant quantity. A2 is amplitude of second wave, it is also constant quantity. Phi is phase difference between two waves, and for interference we know already this condition should be fulfilled, that the phase difference should be constant. So it means all bracket term is constant. So obviously we can replace this replace it by some another constant here. So suppose I am replacing this one, this is y is equal to, I am replacing this by some here a cos of phi, this is now sin omega t. In case of phi, let me write this theta here. Then for this one case, again you can see this underlined portion A2 sin phi. So A2 is again constant, phi is constant, so A2 sin phi will be constant. We can also replace this term, so I am replacing it by some A sin of theta into cos of omega t. Now you can see, if you will take A as the common, so you can have again the formula for the sin A plus B. So if you will take A as common and if you will write it again, so it will be A sin omega t plus theta from here. You can easily write this one. So you can see the final wave that is also following the same characteristic as the individual wave, that is also the same type of wave. This it can again be just like the original phase source. So this is now the concept of Huygens, and we know also that he was saying that every other after superposition event, whatever the wave we will get, that will have also the same type of nature. But now what is the different factor after superposition? That is this term A that we have taken, this term theta that we have written here. So let's see what will be the value of A and theta. From here I think this one is clear. This is the displacement equation for the resultant. And now the value of A is what? Value of A can be calculated first when you will write this replacement terms. So let's write it, that is A sin of theta not phi, and A cos of theta. These two things we have written before. A1 plus A2 cos of phi, this was replaced by A cos theta. Similarly, A2 sin phi, that was replaced by A sin theta, and we have got this one. Now if we will square these two equations, suppose this is now equation 2, this is 3 we have, and if we will square these two equations and then we will add them, we can find out the value of A square from here, that will be A2 sin phi whole square plus A1 plus A2 cos of phi whole square from here. Now next time you can write, this is A2 square sin square phi, then plus again on the formula of A plus B whole square you can open it, that is A1 square plus now A2 square cos square phi, then plus 2 times A1 A2 cos of phi from here. Now we can see from here we can take these two factors as common, so that is now here A2 square you can take common, so you will get and you know sin square pi plus cos square pi should be equal to 1. So it means we will get a1 square plus a2 square plus finally 2a1 a2 cos of pi. This is our value of a square. This is now a square, and in next term if you want to get only a, you can take root of this equation. So this is now the value of amplitude that we can get for the resultant wave, and we can see now this value of amplitude will vary only because of one factor, because a1 a2 are the property of individual waves, but here this phi, this is property of the both waves. Means what is the phase difference between them? Wherever this phase difference will start to change, then that time automatically the amplitude will start to change. So as you know, when crust will fall over the crust, then that time phase difference is different, and when crust is falling over the throws, then phase difference is that time different also. So for the different kind of phase differences we have different amplitude, and as you know, according to wave concept, amplitude is directly proportional or intensity is exactly directly proportional to the amplitude square. So as intensity is depending on the amplitude, so we can write this is I is directly proportional to a square, or I is equal to something ka square. So we can write here the value of a square, that is a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos of phi. From here this is our the value of intensity of the wave that we will get now. Now what is the value of theta? So again I have just rubbed this factor you have written already, that is a sin phi, sorry, a1 plus a2, I should write it again, a cos theta we should have, a sin theta, and a cos theta has value a1 plus a2 cos of phi, and a sin theta had value a2 sin of phi. Only roughly I am writing it. Now as you will divide these two equations, so you can find out by this one, let's divide this one. So tan of theta you can find out, that will be a2 of sin phi, this will be equal to upon 1 a1 plus a2 cos of phi from here. So this is the way in which we can easily calculate what will be the phase difference of the resultant wave now. So this is all, I think theory about the interference is clear. Now we can see how in the theory of interference we can understand at some places we are getting maximum intensity, at some places we are getting minimum intensity. So for that sector you need to understand this value of phi, how it is varying. So let me just rub other all factor here, and I will write this equation at one place, then we will move further. So now the first one here, that is amplitude that we have written, that was root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2 times a1 a2 cos of phi, then I, that is k times a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos of phi. So here whenever this cos phi will vary, then definitely amplitude will vary. So the deciding factor here for the interference is cos phi. This is now the deciding factor. That's why I have told you why the phase is important here to understand the phenomena of interference, because only this phase term phi can change the amplitude of the resultant wave or the intensity of resultant wave. That's why it is very important to understand the concept of the phase difference for the cases of the understanding of interference now. So if this cos phi has its minimum value, so that time obviously amplitude will be minimum. So what should be the minimum value of cos phi? Some of you again may answer it should be 0, but minimum value of cos phi is not 0, that is -1. So you are the value of cos phi, this is -1. For this case we will have minimum amplitude and minimum intensity. Similarly for the second case, when cos phi has the maximum value that you know already, that is +1. So from here this will have maximum amplitude and maximum intensity. So let's find out what will be the minimum amplitude and maximum amplitude here. So for that case, let's put the value of cos phi, and now you can easily use the formula for the general values of the cos or cos for these two conditions. Then you can find out for which value of phi or phase difference you will get minimum value of the intensity, and for which you will get maximum value of intensity. So for the first case here, for this minimum value of amplitude, when you will keep -1 in the place of cos phi, so this equation will be, now for the I only I am writing, then after I will write for A. So this will be k times A1 square plus A2 square minus of 2 times A1 A2, because -1 we have it. Now this is, you can see the formula of A minus B whole square. So this is A1 minus A2 whole square. This is the minimum possible intensity here. This is I minimum. Similarly, you can calculate A minimum here. A minimum, if you will again write here -1. So the same formula you can obtain, that is A1 square plus A2 square minus 2 A1 A2, that is A minus B, that is A1 minus A2 whole square, and this root will be cancelled out by the whole square. You can do it by yourself. That is obtained as A1 minus A2. So this is the minimum possible amplitude, that is the difference of amplitude of these two waves. If both the amplitudes or both the wave have same amplitude, then the minimum possible amplitude will be 0, and that is also the minimum possible intensity will be 0. So at that point, complete dark we will see. We will not able to get any intensity, any light there. The next one case for the maximum amplitude and maximum intensity. For this one case as A maximum, its value you will find out by using this expression, or I minimum, I maximum. Let's find out this one. Anyone you can find out. Let's find out this one also. So this is A1 square plus A2 square. Now plus 1 if you will write, this is 2 times A1 A2. Now this is A plus B whole square formula. So it means we will have A1 plus A2 whole square. Whole square will be cancelled out. So finally we will get A1 plus A2. So maximum possible amplitude is what? Simple, the sum of the amplitude of the two individual waves. That is the maximum possible amplitude. I maximum is what now? This is obviously K A square by the formula. So we can write this is K A square, that is A1 plus A2 whole square. This is I maximum. So maximum to minimum you have got. Now let's see the ratio of maximum to minimum amplitude and maximum to minimum intensity area. Number of numerical problems are asked, also conceptual problems are asked based on this one. When you can get complete dark, when you will get the maximum possible intensity. So first complete dark condition I have told you, when A1 is equal to A2, and maximum possible amplitude is what? When two waves have same amplitude, that is 2A. Suppose A1 A2 is equal to A. Similarly, the maximum possible intensity is what? That is 4A square. So you can have this A, suppose A1 A2 is equal to A, so that time 2A square we will get, that is 4 times A square. So it means now simple, now the intensity will become, after superposition, 4 times the intensity of individual wave. So this is now the concept of the interference. You can see we are getting for the difference in phases, we are getting different intensities at different points. So that's why in space at some points we are getting maximum intensity, at some points we are getting minimum intensity. So a pattern of maximum minimum intensity in space we are getting, that is now the called interference pattern. So here the ratio of a maximum amplitude to the minimum amplitude, that is now A1 plus A2 upon A1 minus A2. If you want, you can just write down this expression in terms of this one also. This is, you can divide this whole expression by A2. So you can find out this is A1 plus A2 minus of 1. Now the next one, the ratio of minimum to maximum intensity also you can see. So this will be now I maximum to I minimum. This will be equal to K times A1 plus A2 whole square upon this K times A1 minus A2 whole square, where K will be cancelled out. So finally we will have only this expression A1 plus A2 whole square. a2 square. You can also write it in terms of this one, a1 by a2 plus 1 whole square and upon a1 minus a2 minus 1 whole square. So in this way you can write, and you can easily calculate and compare the intensities and the amplitudes of the two individual waves and how it will just form interference pattern. Now, so students, I think up to this one, this is very clear how can we get the interference pattern. Now next one, let's see the Young's double slit experiment in more mathematical term, like as we know how the interference will generate it, how the pattern will get, what will be the intensity, what will be the amplitude, but at what distance on the screen from the central point of the screen the pattern we will get, whether it will be minima or maxima, what will be the condition for that, and what will be the separation between the two maximum intensity points, that is also called bright fringes, that is called also the maxima in simple word. Like in the same way, the points of minimum intensity are known as dark fringes, or also we are calling it minima. So number of time maxima minima words you have listened. So this is the meaning of maxima minima. As we are revising it, you know already this one. Now next one, let's see the Young's double slit experiment. Now is mathematical. Listen now. So Young's double slit experiment also we have discussed in the previous class how the pattern is forming there. Also somewhere you will get its name is YDSE. So YDSE is what now according to this one? How can we understand? So for this one, what is it is saying? We have two slits. This is just like we are dividing a single source into two sources, and the single source is this one. This source is sending light to this one. This here light is reaching. Obviously, there will not be any kind of path difference. You know, path difference is what? That distance difference in the distance travelled between two waves. Here, as from here to here, these 2 points are the location of the points where they are having in the same phase. So it means they will take same time to reach here. So there will not be any kind of path difference because the velocity is same, time is same, then path would be also same here. So up to there is no path difference. Now after this, these are the two sources we have made by using the division of wavefront method. Now these two sources will start to send the waves in parallel direction, and you know already how the generation of fringes on the screen. So this is the screen that we have put. Now take the center point of this one. Let's meet this one. Suppose this is our point O. This is O dash. Let us suppose the distribution this between the distance between the two sources is 2D. This is only 2D. I am taking to remove just difficulties in calculation. This is capital D, the distance between source and screen. So this is the sources and this is now screen. Now the light will go from here. Also light can, we are taking the two waves here. Number of waves can be possible, number of fringes can be possible, only two wave will we take. First one that is reaching at the center O, and the second one at any random point. Suppose at any random point P we have chosen wave or P here, and from here also it is reaching here, it is interfering, it is reaching here. Now as you know, after interference here we will get obviously the interference pattern, that is the point of maxima or minima. So whether this P point is maxima or minima, this is uncertain. We don't know when it will be maxima or minima, so how can we find out the condition for that? And the next thing, what is the distance for this point P from this point O, means what is the difference between these two, at what distance the pattern is formed there. So this is now the Young's double slit experiment and its mathematical treatment that we will do in the next class. For today only I have told you this ray diagram, and I think this is well understood by you. This is just a concept map for you for the next class. When you will come, this map is already in your mind, so you can better revise, better understand again the topics and here also. So here what we will do, first we will discuss for this wave that is reaching at O, then we will start our discussion for this wave that is reaching at P. So students, I think today whatever we have discussed, that is very well clear to you. You have revised. So let's end our class here with this discussion. Thank you, students.